Welcome to PLUSone, the series where I look at the free monthly games on PlayStation Plus and tell you if they're worth the download. After all, the games may be free, but your time is valuable. Today we're looking at both of the Vita and PS4 crossover games for September, and you'll see why I'm combining these in a minute. First up is Hatoful Boyfriend, a 2011 visual novel dating sim where you date birds. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here, you're a human who tries to woo birds. Or I guess you could say you're trying to coo them? I'm sorry. If you've never played a visual novel, the genre is simple. You read through text, and when prompted you choose a dialogue option, and the plot forks from there. Unlike a lot of modern games, visual novels have fully branching paths instead of simulated branches that all feed back into the main narrative eventually. This means that while the games are usually short, you can actually play through them many times and get different results each and every time. Why do I know all of this? Because I actually already own Hatoful Boyfriend. I'm not a fan of the genre or anything, I just heard that this game existed, I laughed way too hard, and I bought it specifically to support how stupid it sounded. You play as a human girl in the year 2188, selected to enroll in the prestigious bird-only high school, St. Pigeon Nation. Oh yeah, birds are human-sized and intelligent now because the bird flu mutated? Don't ask. Entering her sophomore year, the girl can choose several different paths throughout her school year with wildly different results. She can join the track team, become friends with the ghost of a dead bird, fall in love with her teacher, befriend an older coffee shop owner, date her best friend, meet the god of pudding who engulfs the entire universe in pudding, and so on. I'm not making that up. That one actually happens. This game is amazing. The dialogue is absolutely hilarious and surprisingly well written for a game that started as a joke. The characters are surprisingly fleshed out despite them being friggin' birds, and even the ones that may seem tropey all have depth to them once you dig a bit. And yes, that does include Okasan, the bird that only screams his own name at you, throws pudding, and sprints away. Don't let the dating sim stuff scare you, by the way. The paths are incredibly short once you've read much of the dialogue, and there's a button that lets you swiftly fly through all the dialogue until you get to your next choice. This means that if you're trying to be a completionist, you can complete full paths in 10 minutes without missing any important lines. And as dumb as it sounds, I recommend you go through at least most of the endings, as the true storyline, almost half of the game by itself, doesn't unlock until you do so. Even if you need a guide to get the required endings, the true story is actually really deep and throws the dating sim part completely out the window in favor of lore and even actual emotion. I didn't expect to get invested in a game this stupid, but this game pulls it off well. Plus, it never gets old that you're talking to birds. Yeah, they have human portraits too if you turn that option on in the options menu, but don't do that, the birds are literally perfect. Fast forwarding might get a little tedious by the end if you choose to crow through absolutely every one of the game's 16 endings, each of which has its own trophy. Even so, the game shouldn't run you more than 4 hours tops if you decide to do everything. The game's 2 gigs in size for some reason. I'm not sure how it got that big, but whatever, on the PS4 you could sneeze and lose 2 gigs, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. As weird as it may be to say this, Plus won this game to your collection if you're a fan of either really funny games or story-driven games in general. It's absolutely worth both the price of free and the regular price of $9.99 just on the ridiculous premise alone. To be actually entertaining and even engrossing at times is just icing on the cake. Okay, I'll stop ranting and raving about this game now. God, these bird puns hurt me inside. Next up is We Are Doomed, another arcade-style twin-stick shooter available on the PS4 and PS Vita. How many of these are there? I don't have much to say really because there isn't really much to this game. You play as a circle and you move around the paper background shooting at or moving away from anything that comes near you. That's the game. There are 30 levels in a wave mode which get harder as you move further in, and there's an endless mode that's, well, pretty much the same thing except not in waves. Credit where it's due, the game is developed by the one-man team behind Graceful Explosion Machine, which always looked like a cool game to me, and for a one-man project this game is impressive. It looks good, the colors pop, the music's solid enough, it all works as far as the presentation goes. Hell, the enemy types are actually pretty solid too. They each tell you right away just by looking at them what they're going to do, and they're all distinct enough so that there's no mistaking them. It's just that this is another twin-stick shooter on PS Plus. We get one of these every other month, so it's hard to feel excited by them anymore. It's certainly the best of its style that we've gotten on PS Plus this year, but there's still really not much to it. The trophies are going to test your mettle if you're a completionist, so be warned you'll need to bring your A game for some of these. The game's file size is smaller than a save file in most PS4 games too, so there's no reason it won't fit on your system as long as you want this style of game. Personally, I would give this one a pass if I were you, unless you really enjoy this genre. If you're watching this after the PS Plus deal ends, it's $10. I don't see $10 of value in this game. Again, I would pass. Maybe $5 would be a little bit more fair, but I was already kind of tired of the game after 20 minutes, so take that as you will. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button and share it with your friends, and if you want to find out if next month's free games are worth a spot on your system, be sure to subscribe.